Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Homecoming Season 1, Episode 2. It's called Pineapple. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, again, this ended, and I was like, oh, it's the end. Oh shit, we're done.
Yeah,
Alright. I feel a trend is
it's getting
emerging.
it's a little jarring.
I think it's meant to be. I think it's meant to be a little jolt when the credit comes up, though. It's like,
Yeah.
here's your final moment. So we had one future segment in this one, but it was all in the middle. It was a bit bigger, but it was all in the middle as opposed to being
Mm.
split in two at the start and the end. And we see Heidi kind of lie about why Carrasco was there, and she goes home to her mother, played by Sissy Spacek. I'd forgotten she was in this actually. I remembered reading about it back when it was announced, but I'd forgotten
Yeah, me too.
in the meantime. And what I thought was interesting about this scene is they start talking about him being there, asking her questions, and her mum's just kind of like, "Oh, maybe is there a job opening? Are you going back? You should get a job." What I thought was interesting though is when they start talking about why she came here, and she says, "Oh, I told them I came back here because you fell, and I came to keep you company and help you." And what I thought was interesting is because I assume she was lying when she told them that, but the way she says it to her, it sounds more like she believes it or believes it in part.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she just maybe she thinks that her mum kind of thinks that as well. So she's kind of going along with the story. I don't know.
It was the way her mum said, "No, that was 2 months later. You were here for 2 months before that." Um, I don't know. It was just it added this extra tinge of uncertainty to it, where I was like, "Huh, maybe there's more going on here than her just lying about it."
Yeah,
Does she actually have memory problems? Like, is she blanking out time? Is
especially as we learn that clearly whatever happens with Walter, it should be pretty memorable.
It should be memorable, and it should be soon, because I noticed I didn't get catch the date in the interview, but she said it was April 2018 when she was
Right.
talking to him. And in the future, we cut to Carrasco. He's at his desk and he's looking through files. It says he was discharged from Homecoming for a violent incident, and it was May 15th, 2018. So we're
Couple of weeks away at
a
most.
few weeks away. And I was like, okay, all right. So we've got a bit of a timeline now. And he tries to call Walter directly, but he ends up talking to his mother, and his mother again is very cagey, doesn't want to talk about anything. Um, does
And
react
it's
reacts to the name Heidi though when he mentions he spoke to Heidi. She
exactly, and that's the bit that makes me go, okay, whatever happens should be particularly memorable because he's like, oh, so that name's means something to you. And she's like, of course it does.
yeah. Does that mean the violent incident involves her? Does he hurt her in some way?
Or if not, is she, or does she think that Heidi's responsible in some way for
Oh,
causing
maybe,
it?
yeah. Because she actually says, because when he brings her up, he says, "Oh, Heidi said she doesn't even recall your son." She's like, "She said that," and it's the first time she speaks with a tone of like she understands what he's asking. Because the rest
Yeah,
of the conversation, she's like playing kind of not so much dumb, but playing very evasive. So, oh, there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to follow up on. But when he says that, her tone changes to, "Wait, she said what?" As if no, there is something here to talk about.
yeah,
And then immediately,
definitely.
but that's only that one line. Then she backs off again. She's like, "No, I need to go. Like, leave, go
Yeah.
away." And then he goes and speaks to his superior, who's breastfeeding at the time. I'm not sure the importance or the dramatic point that it's making here with her breastfeeding. Um, Beyond perhaps the idea of she's got other better things to do and she's not really paying as much attention to not her specifically, just the idea that it represents that, she's like, no, look, there's nothing to elevate it, because she says, like, you have to either elevate it or close it, and all you've got to go on is that it felt fishy, or what was the exact word? It was vague.
Not unease.
Nah, because she says, do you mean she was vaguely this? And he's like, no, no, it was this vaguely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but like the idea is like he's paying attention and he gets the sense that something is going on. This complaint, whatever it is, has merit. There's something here.
Mm.
Um, but everyone's like, nah, well, no, if there's no evidence, you just ignore it. It's just close
What
it.
can you do?
It's
Yeah.
done. But of course he's not going to do that because then we wouldn't have a show.
Well, we'd have a different show.
Yeah, he's going to look into it because he's concerned. By the way, I like his glasses that clip apart and clip back together again.
That's the pinnacle of this technology.
I just no, I was just it's like whenever he does it, it's like he's getting ready for business. He's like it's like Iron Man having his mask come down. He's just like tick, and he's like ready. He's zoning in. It's time for work. He's going to take care of business.
Oh, you want some, don't you?
Nah, because I always wear I have no reason to take mine off. There's no reason for me to ever have them.
Yeah, but you would just so you could clip them together again.
The only time I take my glasses off is when I'm going to bed or showering. Like, you know.
What's your point?
I'm not going to keep them around my neck when I'm in the show, you dumbass.
Why not? You can get out and clip them on, and it'll be cool.
Oh dear. But yeah, so he's looking into he's feeling the resistance there. We get some. It's funny, we get some footage of both Titanic and Backdraft in this, and something else. I don't know what, because I think it's notable that there was almost a thematic point in this episode of having multiple movies being watched at different times. Heidi's mother in the flashback was watching a movie. I didn't quite catch what it was. It looked like an old movie. It was from the 70s or something like that. But and then when we cut back to present day, it's Heidi's boyfriend's watching Backdraft, which if you've not seen it, I just recognised that. I know what it is. But with a young Kurt Russell and Alec Baldwin. Not Alec Baldwin. No, Stephen Baldwin. It's a Baldwin. It's one of the Baldwins. They look different enough now that compared to like 91 when the movie came out that
now you wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, but just remembering off the top of my head.
Baldwin's a Baldwin. It'll
Baldwin. And again, he's like, "Oh, should I pause this because she's on the phone?" And she doesn't care. So, no, yeah. she's not invested in what's going on. So I did have some amusement with the Titanic story. She's having
Titanic Rising.
Yes, Walter's in therapy and they're talking about Titanic Rising. There is actually technically a movie called Titanic 2.
Yes, but it's not Titanic Rising, is it?
It's not Titanic Rising. It's also not official. Whereas the story here, so basically they had a soldier in their team, in their squad, who loved Titanic, fell asleep watching Titanic every night, which is really weird. But he's watching Titanic every night, and one of the squad mates decided to have some fun with him and tell him, like, "You're not seen Titanic Rising? That's weird since you're such a big fan." And it's like, "Oh yeah, James Cameron, like, he wanted to do Titanic Rising." And then when if he eventually tries to look it up on the internet, he doesn't find it, and say, "Oh, you wouldn't find it on IMDb. This is an independent film." Which made me laugh out loud. That was a really funny line. And maybe it's just because I'm the sort of person who looks up IMDb a lot, but that really made me laugh.
It made me laugh too. And it's how do you go to, "Oh, don't tell me he bought that."
Yeah.
I thought it was just like, "Oh, he bought it."
Yeah, and then they start talking about how Cameron wanted outside the studio system, so he raised the money himself. Yeah, because you can independently do a $200 million movie.
To be fair, if anyone can.
Yeah, well, James Cameron could probably afford it. I don't know what sort of back end deal he had for Avatar, but if he had any sort of back end deal, he's rolling in it.
Yeah.
He's a happy man.
He's got to pay for those submarines somehow.
Do you know, I bet he owns a submarine. I bet he does.
He must do.
Yes. And I don't think that's a ridiculous. Do you know, I saw a ridiculous statement. Do you know how there's that whole lawsuit going on right now? The Comic Gator guys try to sue Mark Waid.
Oh yeah.
And Mark Waid started to go fund me for the legal costs. Some asshole on the other side of the debate says, "Oh, some millionaire comic writer is trying to extort money from his fan." I'm like, do you have any comprehension of what the average comic writer actually makes? They're not millionaires. I don't even know if some of the biggest comic writers in the world are millionaires.
Probably not.
I don't think so. It's just because we were joking about Cameron being rich, and I'm sure Cameron is rich because
he probably is.
Because movie making A is a bigger industry, and B, he made two of the most successful movies of all time.
Yeah.
No, actually, what am I saying? He made literally the two most successful movies of all time.
Yeah.
Not some of, literally the two most successful movies of all time.
It is, yeah.
But anyway,
if anyone in that industry is rich, it's him.
Yes. So, point being is he's telling this story and they're having fun about it. And then she says, "Oh, did so and so eventually tell him?" And then he just says, "No, he died." And the conversation just drops.
It's just so blunt, though, isn't it? It's like,
just so blunt.
No, he died like a month later.
It's an effective scene. It's a very effective scene. I really liked it. So I feel like the episodes so far, we're gonna get one bit of future, maybe two. We're gonna get a therapy scene, and we'll get some other stuff going on, and probably one phone call with Carnival's character, Colin Belfast. Yeah. Where this time he's at a golf course and he's annoyed, and he's seemingly sneaking onto the golf course to try and smooze some bigwigs.
Yes.
Which really cool, because last we never really when we talked about the phone call last episode, we never really talked about where he was. He was, I think, in South America, and it looked like he was prepping, like something like.
He felt very. He looked a lot busier than he was this time.
I feel like, I mean, he kind of looked busy here as well. He was just doing something else because he was infiltrating. It feels like he's always doing something for whatever the thing behind all this thing is. But it was almost like he was a drug smuggler, but instead of smuggling drugs, he was making a shady deal for like a plant or something that they were going to use in their homecoming pills. Like,
Yeah,
you know, I don't know. There was something shady going on. But yeah, again, he's just like, nah, I don't, because he chastised, because in the last episode she let him bunk in the same room as the guy we're going to be talking about, Schreier, who's a squad mate of his, and he like, nah, don't do that. Use common sense. There's no rule book. Just don't stop doing things.
Yeah,
because you think it'll help them. Like, no, we're so close. And the reason why they're having this phone call is because Schreier has this weird thing, and the reason why the episode's called Pineapple is because he's looking at pineapple on his lunch tray at the start, and then in the middle of the episode we have this scene where he starts to question things. He starts asking Walter about if he believes they're actually in Florida. He gets very paranoid.
Yeah, and he's like, well, they told us we're in Florida, but I see no proof of that. And annoyingly, it makes me go, right, well, we have to disregard everything we've been told then.
I mean, we've seen Heidi go home. Have we seen anything that would suggest one way or the other that it's a lie? I don't know, because it does feel very paranoid. Because why would Walter? Because as Walter kind of seemingly reacts, is like, why would we have any question to doubt it? Like, why, like, you know, sure, we got into this program. Why do you think there's some shady thing going on? Like, is it to do with the drugs they're giving them? Is that making him this way? Is this just him? Given that we were suspecting Walter's going to go violent in the next couple of weeks, then yeah, it might be something to do with this program.
It could be, because when Heidi's on the phone to Colin, he says, "Oh, you know, he's our fourth week patient." It's like, you know, never mind then. Like, he was almost expecting it.
Yeah, but he was disappointed. Like, you know, so, oh no, that shit, it happened that early. No, we want it to go further or something.
Yeah.
You know, it was like he had an expectation of like how
long. But it
long.
didn't feel like this was unexpected.
Yeah, and she's trying to downplay it over the phone, but doesn't get much success. So, because the episode ends with him being locked in his room, and he asks the guy working, he's like, "Who ordered this? Who gave you the order?" Like, you know, some again conspiracy theories kind of thing. And he's like, "No, I'm just going to lock you in." And it's just when he locks the door, and we see him behind his window with the credit comes up.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I have to question. Is like, is he right? I mean,
it could be.
It could be. Like, you know, he's going, "Oh yeah, you know, we were told we're in Florida, and you know, we weren't at an airport, so we don't know that we were there. You know, it's just a private airfield strips, and then no signs to say that we're here. So you're just taking their word for it. And if we know that there's probably something shady going on, at least on Colin's end, right?
Yeah, there's definitely something shady about the intentions of this place. But my question would then be, but does the shadiness would that have any bearing on the location? Is there any reason why Florida is not the place for it, even if it is really shady?
Yeah, I have no idea. I think to me, though, it's more saying to us, hey, don't believe things just because we're told them.
Yeah, true. Very possible. I my guess right now would be that they probably are in Florida, and he's wrong about them being lied about where they are. It's just that that's not the shady part. There's shady stuff going on that he should be paranoid about, but the Florida thing is, and specifically, just isn't a big deal. It's just like, no, I mean, it's Florida. Who cares? That just happens to be where the building is, so that's why we're told we're in Florida.
Yeah, makes sense.
Or maybe not. Maybe he is right. Maybe there is a reason why it has to be somewhere else. You know, away from, say, governments that might not approve of this.
I think it was notable when he was, because one of the things was palm trees, right? And he was like, "Well, I'm sure these other places have palm trees." He's like, "Yeah," and it's like mentions like, you know, Cuba, and you know, it's like okay, so now we're not even in, you know, U.S. shores.
Yeah, potentially.
So like, yeah, but I think that was a key point, as if we are not in Florida and there was a reason to lie about that, not being in America would be a good reason.
Yeah, yeah. And it is worth mentioning the first episode, Heidi's boyfriend said, I moved here with you. Now, I just assumed at the time that meant Florida, from another state.
Perfectly reasonable assumption.
And in the way that she talks to her mother in this episode, maybe you should go back there. Again, it sounds like it'd just be another state. Just, back to where you were working. Yeah. But they could mean a different country.
They could.
So, it's open. It's open.
It is. I'm sure we'll get answers to that at some point. That feels something that we'll get a definitive thing for.
I like that Thomas Carrasco in the future. I feel like he's kind of our character that the audience is kind of living through in a weird way.
Yeah, he's just uncovering these things, this mystery a little bit. We're a little bit privy to a little more information than he is, seeing some of the flashback almost. But we know about as much as he does in reality.
I would say that some of the stuff we're going to eventually see in the past timeline would contradict stuff that he has in his reports, but he actually doesn't have that much in his reports. They're very slim.
It's been very well covered up.
Yes, whatever's going on,
which I'm sure is something.
There's something's happening.
Yes,
and I'm intrigued as to what that is.
I'm waiting to get some more hints because it's really just drip feeding it at the minute.
Yeah, I'm still into it. I enjoyed the episode. I feel like each episode so far has been a series of like 5 or 6 scenes, but each scene has been
I think I like everything that's in the episodes. I do feel like could do with a bit more out of each one.
Do you think I should have doubled them up and just had 5 double episodes?
Yeah, but the problem is I get what they're going for. The ending of each episode is a really strong point to end an episode on.
It's based on a podcast. I wonder if this is following the format of what was in each.
Could be. I don't know. Not sure about that
podcast episode. I'm just wondering. It's definitely. I will say this though, even if it's kind of weird, it is unique. It's not weird in like they don't know how to pace this properly way. It's weird in a way that they're going for something very different feeling. Yeah,
I'm just not sure I'm that into it in terms of just that pacing.
So I'm curious to see. I'm curious to re-examine this when we get to the end and re-examine how it unfolds over the episodes. Also, there is a joke at one point about how she's been overfeeding the fish in waters. That's way too much. I feed them once per day. I feel like there's something to glean from that comment thematically, and I'm not sure what it is.
Well, I mean, too much of a good thing literally killed them. And when I say a good thing in this case, something they needed, sustenance, whatever she's providing to them, at Homecoming is like, okay, can too much of this can be just as it can be detrimental to them.
Yeah. That's it. We've not seen any of the positive benefit before it kills them. If that's where we're going with this.
No, that's true. But we're told there's a positive to whatever's going on. Whether or not we should believe that is a different question entirely.
I feel like this show is very quickly becoming a new interpretation of the cake as a lie. But we'll...
Yeah. What I will say on that though is Heidi definitely believes they're doing good.
Good. She does. She cares and believes what she's doing.
Yes. So whether or not that's whether she's being misled or not is a different question.
Yeah. Or whether she knows the opposite is true now and she's hiding it, or has she had her mind wiped? Has she actually had mind wipe stuff happening to her? I don't know.
Not outside the realm of possibility.
I don't know. It's weird. But
it's interesting is the word I'd say for the show.
Yeah. I'm into it. I am still very intrigued. I like the offbeat way the scenes are shot. I like the
direction's impeccable, isn't it?
The direction's carrying me through it like a child on a stream of cotton candy floating through a cloud.
There's a great shot of Carrasco, when he's sitting at the desk and he's got all the headroom above him. It's such one of those really classic detective shots.
Oh yeah. Or even just the one where it's like over the cubicles and you can just see the big row of heads, like just all over the cubicles.
Yeah.
but he's kind of sticking out just a little bit. Yeah, just a little.
It's these classic shots that just have an extra edge to them, right?
Yeah, that's good. And I think part of it's 'cause it's such a weird aspect ratio in those scenes as well.
That probably does contribute to it because it just we presumably I mean I don't think I've ever seen content in this ratio.
No, I feel like in that scene specifically, the way it works is because we're not even seeing the aisles at the side between the cubicles. We just literally have the cubicles and nothing more.
So
In the frame.
hyper focused, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hyper focused, but also again it feels very confined. He feels trapped in a box surrounded by other boxes. And because we can't even see the aisles, it accents that feeling even more.
I did like there was a lot of space above him though. It's like, okay, there's a way out above. It's just he can't get up.
He has to go up and over, which kind of what he's going to have to do with his boss apparently, since she's shutting him down and saying, just shut it down. Yeah. So yeah. No, I'm intrigued. Hey, it was a 27-minute episode, and we've spoken about it for 20 minutes. I wasn't sure. I thought it was going to be a short discussion, relative to the length, but no, this has actually been quite meaty. So yeah, we'll be back for episode 3 and the day after tomorrow. So look forward to that then. Assuming recording schedule sticks to it, and hopefully it will, and we're going to try our best. But day after tomorrow is the plan. So we'll come back then with episode 3. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv, and you can do that over there. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?